Welcome, beautiful, amazing sister, to this episode of the Dancing with the Goddess show. I'm your host, Priestess Tora Moon. I invite and welcome you to this sacred space where we can connect heart and soul with each other and the Goddess to discover our authentic truth. Join me in exploring Goddess spirituality to awaken the divine within and remember who we really and truly are. Each week, me and my sister priestesses explore Goddess spirituality, living in Thrival, and having a sacred spiritual life that is fully aligned with our passionate purpose. Here you'll find insights, sacred practices, and Goddess lore. Now on to the show. This week's episode is sponsored by my Living in Thrival, Empowering Yourself to Move from Surviving to Thriving course. Because we're talking about this week, learning and thriving. This Living in Thrival course is a 7-week live online course where you can discover how to live an amazing life that is thriving. There are 7 principles of thriving, and I connect that to the 7 chakras, and so this is a sacred practice. I hope you join me in April. The registration is open, and I have put a link in the show notes to the registration page. Welcome, sister. We're continuing our conversation about the Goddess Saraswati, and this week we're connecting with her quality of learning. Learning is a lifetime process. It isn't something that we do just when we're kids and just while we're in school. We're learning all the time. And in this instance, we're talking more about book learning and learning our life lessons. As the Goddess of Learning, Saraswati can show us what we need to learn in new skills, new techniques, or technology that we need to learn. She can guide us into the things we need to study for our own personal gratification and growth. In this aspect, she can help us with any book learning or learning a new skill. One of the great things about the world we live in today is the technology. And with the technology of today, with the internet and all of the learning platforms like YouTube and Teachable and Kajabi, we can learn any new skill. We can learn about anything. Here you are. You're listening to a podcast and you're watching a video about Goddess spirituality. 20 years ago, I would never have thought that would be possible. But yet, here we are. Isn't that amazing and great? You can go on YouTube and find out anything you want to know. If you're working on your website, you need to know how to do something, there's a YouTube video about it. If you want to learn about something like business practices, or being a better parent, or even just entertainment, there's tons of podcasts that you can listen to, including this one. We are living in this great age of information and being able to learn anything that we want to learn. And my sister, do you know how great of a gift that is? In some countries in the world today, our sisters can't learn what they need to learn. They can't expand their minds. They can't expand their understanding because of the limitations that are put on them. So for those of us who don't have that, we need to express our gratitude that we live in an area and a time where we have as much access to learning and improving ourselves and improving our skills as men do. because that wasn't always the case. Even 100 years ago, not that long ago, even 50 years ago, women went to college not to gain an education for a career or to be a better person. They went to college to find a man. And so we're in this great age where we as women can expand and grow in any way that we want. The YouTube videos, when you go onto YouTube, it's not going to ask us, are you male or female, and show females only cooking and knitting and crocheting classes. We can go on and learn about social media and playing video games. I have a friend who loves watching YouTube and watching people play video games. They're not asking, are you male or female? You just can go on and do whatever you want. And it's so amazing. And I'm so, so grateful for it. And I hope you are too. When I first started hearing the call of the goddess, I was 16. And in the late 70s, you couldn't find the information that you can today about the goddess or about any of the other alternative spiritualities or other spiritualities besides the main ones. You just couldn't find it. It wasn't there. But I always felt that yearning and that calling. I started at 16 praying to La Diosa de la Luna. And I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know why I was calling upon the moon goddess in Spanish. But that's what I did. And to get my first tarot deck, I was 23. And I wanted a tarot deck. And to buy it, I had to go into Salt Lake City. I was living in Tooele at the time, a small town in northern Utah. Had to go into Salt Lake. And the shop I went to was a smoke shop. They sold bongs and pipes and that type of paraphernalia. Those were upstairs. The metaphysical books, the tarot decks, the books about the goddess, the books about Wicca or any of that kind of stuff, the magic and all of that was downstairs in the basement. That's how much information has exploded and opened just in my lifetime. Now you can go on Amazon and get tarot deck. In fact, my daughter gave me a tarot deck for Christmas and it came from Amazon. You can go to Barnes & Noble and get books about the goddess and buy a tarot deck or oracle decks there. You couldn't do that 30 years ago. Isn't that amazing and wonderful that we have this technology now that we can share ideas and information and our knowledge, and that you can learn anything you want to learn about? For me, last year, 2019, was my year of learning. I don't know how many courses and classes that I took. And it was all learning to do my priestess work, the tools and the techniques and the technology that I needed to do my priestess work in this day and age. I would love to be sitting in a temple and having people come to me. But that isn't our day and age. I'm sitting in my temple and I'm coming to you and you're coming to me in this digital media. You're either watching me on video or listening to me on a podcast. And that's amazing. Because I can reach so much more people and touch so many more women's lives. This last year was my learning year. I learned how to do YouTube videos, what equipment I needed to do. I learned how to use my camera and how to edit it. I learned how to do online courses and how to use that technology so that I can teach and share the information that I have with you. I learned how to do podcasts. What else did I learn? Those were some of the major things that I was learning. Part of what I was learning, as I learned these techniques and these skills, I was learning about myself. And we need to remember that Saraswati's gift of learning is not just book learning. The book that she holds is the Veda. And that's spiritual learning as well. And so some of the lessons that I learned in this past year were about myself, who I was. One of the greatest gifts that I was given was to gain that clarity that I am a goddess priestess, that I'm here to share my knowing and my knowledge of the goddess with you as a priestess. What I learned this year was what my passionate purpose was. And that was through all these other peripheral things that I was doing. And I found my clarity finally like November, December, of my passionate purpose is to teach, to mentor, to guide women in discovering their passionate purposes and to live thriving, amazing lives. Part of my purpose too, and I didn't know why, I was learning to do accounting. But I spent 27 years in the accounting field as a CPA and a CFO. And how I'm learning now that I can use that experience is to help my sisters in growing and creating and nurturing their sacred businesses and do so in a manner that they can succeed and thrive. Both they and their businesses can succeed and thrive. So that's what I learned in 2019. So I'm really excited about what I'm going to learn in this new decade. And that learning was all of the 2010 decade. To come to that clarity took me, sometimes I'm slow. It took me that 10 years to come to the same place that I started at in 2010. But I'm now at a totally different place than I was in 2010. Fully confident in who I am as a person and as a woman and as a priestess. So I'm really excited about this new chapter of my life and really excited what I'm going to be learning in the next year and in the next decade. One of the most important things, in my opinion, that we can learn is our truth. What makes our soul sing and how we serve in the world. And we can do this by learning and studying the subjects that interest us or things that we're being guided to learn about by the goddess. At the beginning of last year, my career goal was to be only a fantasy author. How I came to where I am now is through direct guidance of the goddess. I was doing a course on narrating and narrating audiobooks because I was thinking I wanted to narrate my own books, which I still might do. And so I was taking this course on narrating my audiobooks. And I got an email from that guy talking about creating online courses. It wasn't in my plan, but there was not a nudge. The goddess shoved me. And I took the course. And it's led me to where I am now. Without that course, I would be talking to you today about the goddess and about Saraswati or anything else. So we need to listen to those nudges and that guidance that we get from the goddess about what we are learning, because it might not make sense at the time. You might not know why you're taking that course on podcasting or learning about making an app. Just like suddenly you're getting this inspiration and this desire to learn about it. Follow those guidances, because you never know where they're going to lead you in the future. Just got chills. Somebody needed to hear that. Follow the guidance you receive on classes or courses to take. You might not know why now, but the goddess does. And the goddess is guiding and directing you always if you listen to that guidance that you get. That, oh, I don't know why all of a sudden I'm seeing all these courses for coaching on my Facebook feed. I wasn't thinking about doing coaching, but I've got all these courses now. It isn't just because Facebook listens to us. There's that. But it's a way that the goddess uses to guide and direct us. So if you're seeing ads for something all of a sudden on Facebook, pay attention. It might not just be them targeting you. It might be that the goddess is using them to target you to guide you in where you need to go. Isn't that a mind-blowing thought? Yeah, just dead in my mind. For your spiritual practice this week, we're going to continue connecting with Saraswati. But this time, connect with her in what you need to learn and study. Do you have a book on the shelf that you've been meaning to read, that you bought who knows how long ago? Maybe it's time now for you to read that. Pay attention this week to what's showing up in your Facebook feed or on your Instagram feed or your other social media feeds. What is the goddess guiding you to learn next? Did somebody suggest a course to you? Might not be one that you'd thought about before. Maybe it's time to take it. Saraswati will point you in the right direction you need to go to become and create the best and amazing you. She can inspire you in what you need to learn to create your most magical, amazing, thriving life. So I invite you to connect with her and listen to the guidance that she's giving you about what it is you need to learn. So what classes are you taking? What are you learning? Share with us in the Facebook group, in our Facebook community group. And in this group of sisters, it's a place to inspire each other and encourage each other in spreading our wings and learning new things. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you for being part of my community, for taking the time out of your busy day to watch this video or listen to the podcast. I truly, truly appreciate it. And if you enjoy it, subscribe and share it with your girlfriends and those that you think that might gain the benefit of it as well. And that's how we can share this information and how we can reach more people and raise the consciousness of the world is by sharing when we see these things that touch our lives and make our lives better. Let's share it with our sisters. So I pray that Saraswati guides you in what you need to learn this week and in your life. And may you dance with the goddess in love and joy. Blessings. I love you. Bye.